Hello, you see just some random numbers on screen which are generated with formulas, but they have different logic behind the scenes. So if you do random numbers or run between array or run between integers, so you will get just randomly distributed numbers, so they will be like a noise. If you make a chart of them, you will see it's like a noise. One of them is higher, next is lower, so you won't get any meaningful sequence of data. So I've decided to recreate in my dummy data function to recreate data how it would look in a real world. And in real world there are really complex logic behind our figures. For instance, behind sales there may be some seasonal changes, there may be some fluctuations and so forth. So I decided to take a quadratic equation as a logic of these figures. And you see a chart that I created. One of these charts is just run between array, it's colored red, and you see this noise. It goes up and down, so no logic behind here, and you can draw a line in the center. So it all numbers between two given integers, so they do not produce any interesting equation for us. And I wanted to create a sequence which will be random, but at the same time it will be generated of some more complex logic, and in this case I took quadratic equation. You see in first a few periods or a few items it will be higher, next it will reduce, and finally it will grow in the end. You can also imagine any other equations which you like and to take them into account. In quadratic equation you have this logic a power 2. I just type 2 because I don't know how to type power quickly, plus a and plus some number. And you also have coefficients near them. What would be coefficient? X, and next y, and plus will be z, and each of these coefficients may be like positive and negative numbers. So I've modulated, I've created a model. So you can see my coefficients are 0, 0, 3, second is 0.2, and finally 5, just number 5. So this is my array with quadratic equation, which gave me appropriate result because I didn't want to get negative numbers in my sequence. I wanted to reproduce something which will look like sales in the real world. So this is what I came into. With this equation I create named function random quadratic. You can use it, and it uses only two items. First is 500, it's number how many items you want, so I get 500 integers here. And max number, I mean what would be the maximum amount possible in this equation. It goes up here, so maximum is here. So if I change this into say 750, it will rebuild my equation. Now you see it doesn't look like quadratic because it's not of this number of items. The chart is only for 500 items. So if I do it with 200, you will see it will be reduced, but the same logic expands here. So you see my equation goes down and up in the end, but with the same numbers, but the number of items here or the number of generated integers is 200. And let move it back to 500. And now it looks more interesting, and you can create your dummy data based on this sequence, and you can even create charts and reports, maybe in Google Sheets or in Data Studio, just based on your randomly generated integers, and I think it's beautiful.